That's it from us. Now it is time for the news where you are. Goodbye.
Thank you, Sophie. Hello to you. Good evening. Coming up on tonight's South Today. A mum's mission to France to get compensation because of an epilepsy drug that's harmed her children.
We weren't told the information that would enable us to protect our children, and because of that our children have lifelong struggles and we're not going to be around forever to support them.
Thank you for your company and for taking the time to watch tonight. I'm Edward Salt. First for you this evening, I want to introduce you to Janet from West Sussex. Here she is. All 4 of Janet's children were harmed after she took a medicine called sodium valproate to control her epilepsy during her pregnancies, which she wasn't aware about. And Janet isn't alone. Hundreds and hundreds of other mums in this country are in the same boat, and at least 20,000 children are thought to have been affected. 5 years ago, victims here in this country were told that they should be compensated, but they're yet to receive a penny. It is a different story in France, though, where victims are now being given redress. Janet, who lives in Bognor Regis, travelled to Paris to meet campaigner Marine Martin to see whether she could learn anything from their success across the Channel. And I travelled with her.
What's going to happen when we as parents aren't there to look after them anymore?
We followed Janet's story here on South Today for the past 2 decades.
They've got difficulties ranging from atypical autism to poor working memory to bowel problems.
Like hundreds of other mums in this country, she took a drug for her epilepsy, but she was never told that by doing so, she would unintentionally harm her children. Do you feel guilty about taking that drug?
Always.
I first met Janet for the programme 5 years ago after the then government were told to compensate mums like her. None of that money, though, has been seen. It's a different story, though, across the Channel, where the tide has turned and victims are now being compensated.
I'm hoping to get some ideas about how we can proceed in the UK, as they've been sort of fairly successful in France. As a mum, what's your experience been of having children with Valproate?
For me it was really difficult. First it was guilty.
Well, the reason Janet is here in France is so she can meet Marine Martin. They share a lot in common. They both have epilepsy, they both took sodium valproate unaware of the risks, and both have seen their children bear the consequences.
My daughter Salome, born in 1999, with a strange face in my opinion, because she have a small lip, a large front head, and after my son Nathan, at the age of walk, didn't walk. At the age of talk, didn't talk. I discovered that it was in my fault with the drug I took during pregnancy.
And after that shocking discovery, Marine has spent her life getting justice for her family and others.
In France, they call me a whistleblower of a Valproate scandal.
Doctors say the proportion...
France has a state-run compensation scheme for mums and children affected by sodium valproate. But many others, including Marine, have brought individual cases against the drug company Sanofi, who made the drug, and last year Marine was awarded €300,000 in compensation.
And what do you feel, Charles, that we need to do in the UK to make the same happen that you've managed over here?
I think you need to go back to fight. Go back to fight in the courts and go back against the government. For us, it's really a shame, and we don't understand why it's not working in the UK. I cannot understand why there is no such a fund and the court did not took care of this matter in the UK.
Well, we approached Sanofi, which is based here in Paris, for an interview on the programme, but they declined. We also asked if they were willing to meet Janet either in private or on camera. Again, it was an offer they refused. Instead, in a statement, they told us Sanofi has always provided information regarding valproate that reflects current knowledge as approved by the UK medicines regulator, the MHRA. And they say that they're committed to working with all of those concerned to continue the education about the risk and precautions for the appropriate use of Valproate.
How do you find it day to day living with the Valproate syndrome? What battles do you have personally?
Honestly, now it's a battle for freedom.
Back at the Eiffel Tower, and Janet is joined by Marine's son Nathan, who has this message for authorities in the UK.
You should act now, because if you don't act, you will be remembered as lazy, who didn't act, and who shut their eyes when there were people who are screaming for help. Be brave, have strength and honor, and then you will be remembered as respectable people.
It's the same in England. Information was available and it was not given to the victims.
When we arrived in France, I asked you what you hoped to achieve. What have you achieved?
It's been great to meet Marine and Nathan and Charles and hear about how they've been fighting in France and the successes that they've had. And I'm hoping that I can go back to the UK and follow their example and use the information that they've provided to help the families back home.
Well, once again, as we've always done with this story, and with successive governments, we asked for the Health Secretary or a Minister for an interview to talk to victims like Janet. Again, that request was declined, and instead we were given a statement. Here's what the Department of Health have had to say. Our sympathies are with those affected, and we are fully focused on how best to support patients and prevent future harm. The government is carefully considering the work undertaken by the Patient Safety Commissioner and its report, which sets out options for redress for those harmed by sodium valproate. And that's a story we'll continue to follow on the South Today, as we've always done.